It's ridiculous because the one thing I'd always vowed was I would never work for myself because I had
seen your mum and dad. Yeah.
Exactly. And I saw them at the kitchen table doing their, their books at midnight and then freaking out. Like, so I'd seen it and I vowed I would never do it. And that was, one of the reasons why I was so delighted when I went into Arnott's. I was like, I'm working for someone. You don't bring home. The idea was that you wouldn't bring home the stress of work.
So today I had someone that I have admired for ages. You would know her probably from the TV. I know her from a business first. She is very she comes across in her socials, a real bundle of joy. You know, when you meet someone, you're like, I want them to be my best friend, or can we go out for the evening without being weird? I just kind of want to be this lady's friend. A great pod, an absolute dote. I hope you enjoy this. This week's episode is with Siobhan Lam. Siobhan, thank you so much for coming to Be Bell. I'm delighted to have you on, so thank you for spending time with me today.
Thank you for inviting me.
No, do you know what? It's a long time coming. And actually, just before we jumped on, I was saying, I love the shop, I love the programme, but I also love your style. And I am not stylish in the sense...
Stop.
No, listen, I just wear black. It's so simple.
Well, it's very chic.
But I also, quite often people say to me, that'd be lovely, Siobhan, if you just styled it with this, this, this. And I'm like, I don't do that. I don't have any earrings to put on with it. But then I'm watching other people and I'm like, how does she make that jacket look like that? So there's so many elements to you.
Oh,
but there is, and they all need to be recognised. So obviously Be Bell is about the story behind, where people are today. I'm always interested in how they became that person. So for you, where did it all begin?
Where did it all begin? Ooh, I don't know.
Where were you born?
Where was I born? Okay, we'll start there. So I was actually born in London.
Oh, whereabouts?
In Middlesex.
Yes, I know Middlesex.
Yeah, East End. So my dad is from Hong Kong and my mum is Irish.
Yeah.
And they met over in London in the 80s. So they met there, they married there, they had all of us kids. So I'm the eldest of 3.
So were you born in West Middlesex Hospital? If I remember rightly, that was the hospital.
Could have been.
A sister that was born in that
No
hospital.
way.
I do.
I mean, I should have been because that's where we lived. So I was born there and we lived there until I was about 5 or 6. And then we moved back to Ireland.
Okay. And whereabouts too?
Kildare. Well, so we went from East End London to the bog.
The country.
But literally on the bog because my granddad worked for Bord na Móna his whole life. And my grandparents had a house on the edge of the bog. So we moved in with them when we first moved here. And it was a bit of a culture shock. I'm not going to lie to you. Yeah. And this was when was I born? It was in the late 80s.
Yeah.
And at that time, obviously, mixed race people were not too common.
Rare, I'd say.
They were very rare. Yeah.
Yes.
And so because I'm the eldest, starting in school and stuff was interesting. Different. Yeah. We moved over here and I remember, I guess it must have been first class because all of a sudden I was getting my first Holy Communion.
Okay.
And we wouldn't have been too good at going to church when we were in London, and all of a sudden I was wearing a white dress in a church and people were going, can we get a photograph with you? Because obviously I looked totally different to everybody else in the area. It was a big change. It was a really big change.
Yeah, I often tell the story of when I moved here in 2000, because it wasn't multicultural,
No.
I remember ringing friends going, this is really, really weird place. Because I had grown up, I'd lived in Middlesex for a long time and I grew up in London City. So everybody's different.
Everyone's different.
That's what makes us all the same.
Yeah,
is that we were all different.
Yeah.
So when I first moved here, it was a real culture shock for me.
Yeah.
And I was in my late 20s going, what's going on? But I suppose moving and actually I love the thing that you said about the having your picture taken, because I went to a friend's daughter's communion and we were late. I didn't realise we were late. She said at any time from 4.
Right.
So we went at 6 and the little girl wasn't in the white dress and she made her go and change. And then we had to, but I felt then that we had to have a picture taken. And then my friend said, you're supposed to give her the money now. And I was like, what?
That's the most
And I was like, oh my
part.
God, this is so stressful.
This is so you don't know. Like,
absolutely.
How are you supposed to know until you actually do it, you know?
You only know what you know.
You only know what you know.
Absolutely.
It's true.
And so how many siblings do you have?
I have one brother and one sister.
Oh, lovely. And you are the oldest?
I'm the eldest, yeah.
And so moving back then to Kildare, going to school, like, did you enjoy school? And what did you have a graph for? Were you sporty? Were you...
I wouldn't say I was sporty.
Yeah, she's like, no.
No. I mean, I was okay. I was okay, but I think I was more interested in art and
creative.
Yeah, well, I guess. And like English, I loved reading. Drama, I did every play I could get involved with. But yeah, I mean, school was fine.
Yes.
It was tough, I think. When we moved over initially, I found that really difficult. And like when we went to secondary school and things like that, I was still kind of very different. So that was challenging, I think. But, you know, after a while, people just like, whatever, and you get on with it. But yeah, school's good. I went to secondary school and like a local secondary school. But then as I was coming towards leaving cert, I decided to go to a grind school.
Okay.
That doesn't exist anymore. It was called Bruce College. So it involved me coming up and down from Dublin on the bus to go to this grind school with the idea that you'd do much better in your leaving cert.
Okay.
Did I? I don't know. Probably not, because I met my husband.
Oh, at the grind school.
At the grind school. So we got a little distracted. But yeah, so that's kind of my secondary school education.
Yeah.
I didn't
and did you have
there.
an idea of what you wanted to do?
Kind of. Like I was very involved in drama in the local theatre group, the Prosperous Drama Society. It's actually a brilliant drama society. It does really well. Like kind of nationally, it wins all sorts of awards. It's brilliant. So I had an inkling that I would like to do acting.
Yes.
Dare I say it. So that was kind of what I was thinking initially. I didn't study it or anything like that. I just was doing no. But it was my favorite hobby. So I kind of thought maybe that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so going to the grind school, you meet your future husband. And how much trouble did you get in?
We didn't get any trouble. But I think like, you know, when I was like, you know, selling it to my mom, I was like, okay, look, this is going to cost a certain amount of money, but it's for my future, you know, points, college, university. And then, of course, I got distracted by my husband, Jamie. But we didn't get up to trouble. It was just that we were a little bit less focused.
Distracted.
We were distracted.
Distracted.
Yeah.
And did you go on to uni? College?
I did.
What did you do?
I studied arts like everybody else in Ireland. I focused on English and sociology. I started out in UCD, hated it.
Okay.
Transferred to Maynooth University, which I adored. Loved it so much. I was like, I'm in Hogwarts. Look,
Yeah.
look at this beautiful building. And I just loved it so much there. And so I got my degree from NUI Maynooth. And it was amazing because we were reading, you know, feminist criticism, and I was studying like sociology of the body, and it really opened my mind to so much. Like I've always been a feminist, but it just kind of gave me titles and a theory that I was like, oh my God, I love it so much. So it was an amazing time for me. And I'm from Kildare, so
yes,
I could live at home and I could drive into college, which was really nice. And actually, it turns out like loads of my friends from secondary school went there as well. So it was
nice.
a really lovely college experience.
And at what age did you move out?
I haven't a clue. What age am I now? I guess after college I moved out, so maybe 2019, 20? I haven't a clue. Can't remember anything.
Around 19, 20 years of age.
Yeah, I think so.
And because I always think this is pivotal for people at what time they moved out or why they wanted to move out. Like, was it because you were like finishing college and you were going into the working atmosphere, you know, that new realm, and so you felt that you needed that independence? Because some people stay at home when they go and get their first jobs and everything. Some people feel, no, that's the time for me to move.
I don't know. It was never something that was like an option. I was like, it was always just going to happen.
Yes.
I think because, you know, at that point, me and Jamie had been in a relationship for years and we were eager to kind of get our lives started.
Yes.
But as well as that, I think I come from a family of kind of go-getters.
Yeah.
Yeah. And just like get out there, do it. Like, you know, my parents were entrepreneurs. They've owned restaurants and takeaways their whole lives. We've always worked in those businesses. And like I don't know anybody else who worked as hard as my parents or worked because they're retired now. They work so hard. So I think I just assumed like, of course, you just get out of the house, you get started, you get your job and you just go. I don't know. It wasn't an option.
I don't think that everybody thinks of that. I think it, like I obviously grew up in the UK and it is very like that there. 16 to 18, you're thinking about leaving home. Not so much now. Things have changed. Yeah. But definitely when I was growing up, that's how it worked. And, but also as well, my parents were landlords. They were publicans. So like yourself, we never didn't have a job. Yeah. So,
there's so much to do.
Yeah, like the minute you could walk, you had a job. Yeah. Like if you could wash a glass, you had a job.
Yeah.
We used to hide actually from our parents upstairs. We used to be like, don't tell them we're home from school yet. So just so we could have 2 hours where you do nothing. Oh, yeah, bless. Well, it also worked both ways. Sometimes you'd be like, you're really busy this week, Mum and Dad. We'll take the week off school. Like it's grand.
We're going to help you.
Don't panic.
Yeah.
But I think it gives you a really good, like, I'm so glad I grew up like that. Because, I mean, obviously I love business and I've that business mindset. But it definitely stems from the fact that it's actually the lovely Lee that sorts the cameras out here was asking something about my 5-year-old niece, that's it. And I was like, I would think I was flogging something in the back garden. Because I really was. Like I that entrepreneurial piece that we take from our parents.
100%. Because we are learning from our family life. And obviously, if both your parents are nonstop working, you're learning from them. Yeah. And I agree with you completely. Like I've learned so much from them. You know, I've learned to work hard and work well and don't expect anybody else to provide for you or provide answers for you or, you know, just do it yourself.
Yeah.
So sometimes I can get a little bit frustrated with people if they're not necessarily on the same wavelength as me, as in just do it. Just do it. What's the worst that can happen?
Well, I love that saying. What is the worst that can happen? You learn something.
Exactly.
That would just be a disaster. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I love cocking up. It's my favourite thing to do. And I do it much less now, but I certainly did it loads when I was starting out. So
much.
And it's great.
It's amazing. I think it does take, you know, experience and time to understand, you know, that it isn't horrendous when you mess up.
Yes.
Because when I was younger, I was like, oh my God, don't mess up. Don't mess up. Everything has to be perfect. You know, oh my God, the shame. Now I get that everything is a lesson and we do these things to get to this point. But I think when you're younger, it is harder to understand that the world isn't going to end if you mess it up.
Yeah. I think we need to talk about it more, especially with younger people, because I work with a lot of students and sometimes I feel they have two switches, like utopia and devastation.
Yeah.
And I'm always like, no, like, come on, I want to see at least one cock up this week.
Yeah.
Please. Just don't let it cost me a lot of money.
Well, that's a different story.
Please. Not this week.
Something else.
Not this week.
Yeah.
So you two move in together and do you go into a 9-to-5 job? What direction are you going in?
I actually started working in the bank.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
You're a banker.
I was a banker and I absolutely hated it. I'm not a numbers gal. I never have been. And I don't know how I ended up in a bank. I think I just applied for loads of proper jobs. And it's just proper. You know, back in the day, proper job, a bank. That's a proper job, working in a bank. And I hated it so much. I was like plotting to leave almost immediately. And I remember when I did finally hand in my notice, my manager was like, oh no, you were terrific. I had so many plans for you. And I was like, really? Because I hated every day.
Yes.
But yeah, I did it. I hated it and I moved on.
But isn't that lovely? to just do, like my dad, I always tell the story, my dad always used to say to, if you get up and you don't want to do your job, then it's not the job, it's just the wrong job.
It's the wrong job. Yeah.
Like now I work all the time and I absolutely adore it, but it never feels like work.
Yeah. That's what you want.
That's the ideal, isn't it?
Yes.
So the bank was not for you.
It wasn't, no.
What did you try next?
What did I try? I'm trying to remember. I
can't remember my life. What happened?
I know, it's been so long.
All a blur.
So long ago. I think then I was like, okay, I'm going to do acting. So I started auditioning for independent TV things. And I think I was working in one of my parents' takeaways for money. So I did that for a while. Didn't get too far. And then I was working in retail as well. And I decided to move to London with my bestie and really give the acting a go.
And leave the boyfriend behind.
Leave the boyfriend behind. And I went for 6 months and then I came scampering back.
Okay. Because it wasn't what you thought it was going to be, or?
Yeah, I think it was really tough. It's so expensive.
Yeah.
In London. I was working as a theatre usher. So on a pittance. We're having so much fun. And I was working with my best friend as well. But it was so hard. I was going to all these auditions and the auditions were very specific roles. Corpses, prostitutes. And I was like, okay, this is clearly down to what I look like aesthetically. And I was getting really frustrated with that. And I was also like, why am I trying to, get somewhere in this career, which is entirely out of my hands? It's not down to me. It's down to luck, number one.
All the elements.
Yeah. And certain parts being created by other people that I perhaps will get a call for, certainly won't get, blah, blah, blah. And I got really frustrated because I had zero control over the trajectory of my job, career. And I was like, lads, I'm out. Jamie's at home in Ireland. And, I gave it a little try.
6 months is a good little kick on the door.
6 months. And then I went back. And then I was like, okay, let's take control. Let's get going. So I went back to college and I did a postgrad in fashion buying. Because I'd always been interested in fashion and I had been working in retail in little boutiques in Dublin as well. And I said, I'll do fashion buying. Like, I mean, fashion, of course, who doesn't love fashion? So I did that in DIT at the time, which I think is now TU.
Yes.
An amazing course. It was relatively new and we learned so much about buying, merchandising, about retail.
Yeah.
In general, store operations, everything. So it was a really, really good course. And part of the course, one of the main reasons I did it, to be totally honest, was you do an internship.
Okay.
An internship with a fashion buying department. So I was like, this is why I'm doing this. I want to get in somewhere really good and I want them to hire me. And I luckily got an internship with Arnott's. Because I didn't want to do own by buying. I wanted to do brand buying. I'm all about the brands, baby.
Okay.
And then obviously Arnott's is brands.
Yeah.
So I interned there. I did my very best to be as absolutely excellent as I could. And it paid off because then after the course, they asked me back and they hired me. So I worked there for a few years. And it was such an amazing place to work. I learned so much.
That's that stability and the learning that you can get from a larger company like that.
Yeah, it was brilliant.
That is amazing.
And, it was majority women.
Yeah.
My buyer was a woman. Everybody we worked with were women. Like our director was a woman. And I was just like, yes. Surrounded by these strong, powerful women who were so good at what they did. And I learned so much from them. It was brilliant. Like, it wasn't like, daisies and running through forests and like going to appointments and like, I mean, obviously part of it was, but it was really tough as well. Like, we work really long hours. but it was brilliant because you were part of a machine.
Yes.
And it introduced me to kind of that world. You know, it introduced me to fashion in Ireland. It introduced me to PR people, public relations.
Creating a network.
100%. You know, what is marketing? Oh, this is marketing. And it was kind of, digital marketing was getting big at that time. And you were, as a buyer, you're very involved in all of retail. So you're on the shop floor, but you're also, you're buying for obviously the seasons ahead. So you're very, very involved in all aspects of retail. So yeah, Arnott's was terrific.
Yeah.
I loved it.
It is a great company, great start. And so why did you leave Arnott's? This episode is brought to you by Skin Formulas, an Irish skincare brand created by skin experts and trusted by thousands of customers and skin clinics. Built on science, results, and a deep understanding for skin health, Skin Formulas is designed to help you feel confident in your skin. If you want to know more, then go to www.skinformulas.ie.
I think I just had a little tiny bit of a midlife crisis.
Okay.
Because I was turning 30. And I was like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
What am I doing with my life?
30 is funny, isn't it?
Yeah.
It does that to a lot of people. I think I was a bit like that.
And I'm like, now I'm going, why was I having a midlife crisis at 30? That's so young to be even. Anyway, I did.
Yeah.
And I left. And at the same kind of time, myself and Jamie had bought our first house because we'd always wanted to have a home.
Yes.
It was really important to us. We like when friends would be going on holidays, we were like, no, we're just going to stay at home and save. Yeah, save. And we had bought a fixer-upper. And it was a real fixer-upper. It was in like 3 bed sits. It was absolutely like I walked in and I wanted to walk straight back out. It was so not nice. Yeah, it was terrible. But super location. It was in a receivership. So we got it at a good deal.
Oh, wow.
It was a nightmare. Like the whole thing, it took so long and it was whatever, but it was worth it. We knew it was worth it. So I kind of started, we renovated the house ourselves because we had 0 cash from buying it. And Jamie's dad was a carpenter. So he had loads of experience. And we were like, can you show us how to do this? And he would do it and we would learn. And, so we physically did the house up ourselves. And from that, it just totally shifted my everything, really. I became completely obsessed with homes, interiors, home decoration, furniture. And it was like, my focus totally shifted. And I think what really happened was I was just trying to make the house as fabulous as it could be and like to reflect me and Jamie.
Yes.
But at the same time, we didn't have a lot of money. And I said, why don't these why doesn't a shop exist that I can shop in Ireland that has the things that I want, that has, quirky homewares, cool furniture that is affordable? Like that's not too much to ask. And I knew that those types of products and stores existed in Europe because I'd seen them on buying trips. And I just didn't understand why they weren't in Ireland. Like we had, a couple of kind of big boys, but they were super generic, I found.
Yeah.
And I was just so bored. I was like, I'm not bringing any of that stuff into our house. I want our house to be like, I want it to reflect us. Yeah. So that's kind of where the idea for April and the Bear came about. I was like, I'll just start it. Like, why not? Why not? And it's ridiculous because the one thing I'd always vowed was I would never work for myself because I had
seen your mum and dad. Yeah,
exactly. And I saw them at the kitchen table doing their, their books at midnight and then freaking out. Like, so I'd seen it and I vowed I would never do it. And that was, one of the reasons why I was so delighted when I went into Arnott's. I was like, I'm working for someone, you don't bring home. The idea was that you wouldn't bring home the stress of work. But anyway, I did it. I did some research. I looked at the market, and because, we had no capital, I opened an online store. And that's kind of where that started. Like, it was from just us.
And did you then, because I'll ask this, so when I bought my first business in 2008, I didn't feel a difference between working for somebody else and working for myself because I'd always worked for other people like it was my business. So I didn't feel a huge jump when I started working for myself because I'd always thought of their money as my money.
Yeah.
Which lots of my other friends go, are you mad? But I had always thought, like, if you'd ever walked into a business that I was a manager in, everybody thought I owned it.
Yeah.
Because I just always had the same passion. I didn't get fearful until I hit recession.
Right.
And then, because I bought my first business in 2008, 2009, I went, oh shit, that was a really bad time to buy your first business.
Yeah.
But I always knew I'd be fine. I stacked shelves in Dunnes in the morning. I worked in the NCT call centre in the night, and I ran my business in between because the staff had to be paid. And I would do that again tomorrow.
Yeah.
I have no problem with washing a dish. So I always say to people, my friend of mine asked me recently, do you never like get in fear? And I said, I'm never in fear of the business because I know I'll always graft my way out of it.
Yeah. That's great.
Yeah.
That's great.
But did you notice a shift? I suppose, and because online would have been new-ish.
Yeah.
Exactly. Do you know what I mean? So that's kind of a risk. You've got to train people not to go into store because you are right. I mean, I bought my first apartment in Sandyford, 18 years ago. There was only a place in Stillorgan. Everything was, I spent ridiculous money on my furniture.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
Because there wasn't any alternatives.
There wasn't. And I think that was one of the reasons I was like, this actually might be, a really
great
good idea. Because there is no competition.
Yeah.
And there's certainly no competition in Ireland. And if there is, it's kind of like, 2% of their stock is online. And I didn't want it to be a generic online store either. I wanted it to be, more like opening a magazine and it's your mate chatting to you. Like our product descriptions have a sense of humor, I like to think.
Yeah.
And like I try and take all, the photography, we do it in store. So it's not like just generic cutouts. We wanted to give it a personality,
feeling.
dare I say it? Yeah, a feeling. And I just, so, I don't know, just back to what you said. I think I would be very similar to you in that I'm when I work. I put the head down and I want to do everything really well. Like I never want someone to go, oh, that presentation was okay. That would devastate me. Doesn't matter if it's for my business or for somebody else's business. So I think I would be the same. But when I did start, and still now sometimes, like I did put a lot of time into it. Nights, just because I did everything initially. I was the only person working in the business. I was packing the orders. I was customer complaints. I was creating the website. I did everything.
You were Sandra in customer complaints.
Hello, how are you?
Change the name on that email address.
Sandra, yes. She's actually busy right now.
Done that a few times.
Yeah. But those first few years, I think, because you are doing everything, you really do have to work every hour under the sun. So I definitely did that. Which I wouldn't have done so much in another business. But you do it because you love it. Do you know? Like I really loved the business and I love it still. Like you said, it doesn't feel like a job because I genuinely like it. I go into work.
Buy all this stuff that you love and then you get to pass that love on to other people. That's like the perfect shop in the world.
It's so nice. And you know what? We've the best customers as well.
Yeah.
Like the people that love the store, they come in and they just have a big smile and they're giggling and we have such amazing customers. And knowing that you're buying for them or that, this print, they're going to love this print. It's so nice.
I love that. And where did the children come? How long have you been in business?
We've been in business about probably 4 years.
Okay.
And
How did you find that?
Really tough.
Yeah.
Super tough. I think juggling your own business and kids is really difficult.
Yeah.
Anyone who says otherwise
It's a liar.
is a liar. Like, I mean, anyone that I know, it's so difficult.
Yeah.
I think particularly for women, obviously. So it was really tough. I think the business was smaller back then. So I kind of juggled it and it was fine. But then at a certain point, you have to kind of go, okay, are we doing this or are we not doing this? So like, after Zoe, the business was doing really great. Actually, COVID was
A great time.
It was a great time in terms of sales. It really was, especially for online businesses.
It's the e-com dream.
E-com dream, 100%. And like we were working all sorts of weird ways because obviously you couldn't work with anybody. So we were packing on our own and in shifts and, you know, we'd never been busier. So it got to a point where I was like, okay, we got to grow the business. We got to grow the team. We got to move to a bigger premises. And, you know, you're also very aware of your age. You've just had one baba. Will there be another one? And, you know, throughout all this, my husband is amazing. He's so supportive. Like in the early days, he would have gone through every tough decision with me. He still does, to be totally honest. But he would have physically built like our pop-up stores. Like he's so integral to the business. But all the while, he's also working his own full-time job in his own corporate career. So you have to consider all of these things. So yeah, like it's tough going. I think it gets easier as the kids get older. But you know, like if you've got a kid in crash, they're going to be sick every second week. For sure. Like guaranteed for the first 2 to 3 years. So you need to work that into your schedule. Like these are things that, you know, you just have to get on board with. And it sounds ridiculous to say that, but it's actually true. When my youngest Autumn started in crash, she was sick every 2 weeks. And I think I just started on Home of the Year and I was like, I don't know how I'm going to do this.
That was my next question. How did Home of the Year come about?
Well, actually, so myself and Jamie did Home of the Year. The first episode of the first season
was your house.
Was our house all those years ago. So when we were renovating the house, we got a call from a production team and they were like, we'd love you to do the show. And I was like, maybe. Jamie was like, no. And I was like, just think of the exposure for the business. Obviously, I was thinking about the business. I was like, look, let's just do it. So we did it and it was great. It was super great. And then 2-3 years ago, I got another call from one of the producers. And she's like, oh, Home of the Year, would you consider? And I was like, oh, we've already been on the show. We were on it 10 years ago. And she's like, no, I know that. She was like, would you consider being a judge? And I was like, what? And it was amazing. Like, obviously the show, I adore the show. We've watched it all these years and just to see like the different judges as well. So it was a huge compliment. But also kind of scary, you know, to be up on the TV, I would say in one of Ireland's most beloved shows. But I had to do it.
Absolutely.
Of course I had to do it. Yeah.
I think that's amazing. And think about that 6 months you spent in London that you didn't need to do.
I know. But you see, did I? Because you need to kind of go on all these journeys. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And go, oh, this isn't for me. I tried it. I did this. I did that.
Yeah.
And you really do learn your lessons as you go along. But yeah, that's kind of how Home of the Year came about.
And obviously with it, and obviously the passing of Hugh, and like, sorry so much for your loss. What a fabulous man he was. Like, how has it felt a little strange now? Or
yes.
Yeah.
This last season, so he passed in December, just at the end of filming, like we'd finished everything. So this season has been hard, I think. It's been lovely. It's been so nice. And like, I don't want to focus on, you know, the sadness, even though it's very real and it's felt by so many people in Ireland, even people that have never met you. Because the show is a celebration of Irish homes and the creativity and the incredible spaces that these homeowners create, you know, often with very small budgets, but with just so much passion and with so much love. But it has been a tough season, I think. But the way, you know, we've been kind of thinking about it, I think, is that it's a celebration of Hugh.
Yes.
Because there's literally nothing Hugh loved more than his TV shows. He really did. He lit up whenever he was talking about like his other show, The Great House Revival. And he was just such a natural on camera.
Yeah,
he's just fabulous. So fabulous.
Yeah.
So fabulous. And he loved his shows. So I think he would have been fuming if we didn't show them, do you know, to be honest.
Absolutely. And I watched with Vic, I'm renovating.
Oh.
And you never know, my house could be on House of the Year next year. You never know.
Please.
Oh my God, girl. This is why I've got hives. I was saying to someone earlier, I've got makeup on my neck because I'm so stressed.
What point are you in the renovation?
So let me just tell you briefly. So
Yeah.
I bought a house. We were knocking down 2 walls and just putting a patio out the back because it was
Love it.
it was ready.
Yeah.
Knocked down the 2 walls. Every wall fell down apart from 2. And then the roof fell in and we found out that it had no roof and it was derelict.
What?
So we literally had to start from scratch. So it was basically a new build, which is fine and dandy, but not on the budget that we had put aside.
God, that's...
So yeah, it's been interesting.
Wow. Okay.
Which meant that I had a project manager.
Yes.
Because obviously you couldn't have, the builders taking it to the fruition.
Yeah.
So been really interesting. I've learned a whole new business.
Yeah.
Now everybody's saying to me, "Oh, you'll have to do it again." I'm like, "Not on your life will I do it again."
So stressful.
Oh my God, it's absolutely crazy. So at the moment, everything. So whether it's ready or not, we're moving in 4 weeks.
Good for you. Get in there.
And just putting the carpet down. I've got a mattress.
Yeah.
And I have a bathroom and a kitchen.
Done.
That's all I need.
That's all you need.
So and I even had a dream last night about sellotaping black bags on a window because I'm like,
the reality of it though.
But you know what? The other thing was, like, so many people said, "Oh, we've got this. We'll lend you that."
Yeah.
I don't want anything coming in those 4 walls that has to leave.
Right. Yeah.
Because I've rented for 15 years.
Yeah.
I had an apartment in Dublin, which brought me no joy.
Yeah.
And I was one of those people that had to be a landlord because we'd bought in the boom and I sold all my furniture with my apartment. We've got nothing,
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm not taking history here and I'm not going to bring something in that I have to get rid of. So we'll just take our time.
I love it. That's the best thing to do, though.
Yeah.
Get to know your space, your new space.
My new space.
Your new space.
It's in the country as well, Siobhan. So I'm going to become a country woman. I'm going to buy, I need to buy a pair of those wellies, what are they called? Hunters.
Hunters.
I'm going to wear long coats and hats.
Oh, so fabulous.
I'll buy a horse.
I love that the outfit's already organised. You haven't anything in the house, but you got the outfit.
What will I do with my tracksuits? I just don't know. This is just so bad.
But do take your time. You're dead right. And see how you use the space and see what window does the light come in and which, where do I want to put my cozy sofa?
I think that was the best advice somebody said to me, actually. Just get in, Sean, and live in it.
Yeah.
I think that was the best advice. But I love watching the show and, and people are like, you're getting loads of ideas. I'm like, I'm not holding in the ideas because you could just get so overwhelmed. I'm sure people do.
Yeah. Like you can't. And also, I feel like with your home, it's so specific to you and how you live your life. And, what do you do in your home? Do you work in your home? What is it going to be to you? Is it going to be like a tranquil haven that there's, you have to, it's so specific to you that I sometimes I ask people to not think about, trends or, TV shows or magazines, because there's so much out there now that it can get overwhelming. And often people, when they come to our interior design service, they're like, look, I haven't a clue what I want. And it's just about kind of going back to basics, back to how do you actually live your life? What's important to you? Are there colours that you hate? Are there colours that you like? Let's start there.
Yes.
Let's just go back to basics. Don't think about, what trend is this? What look is this room going to... Because it's not about that.
It's very simple.
But it is, though. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. It is simple. It's about functionality. It's about being true to yourself. And I do think it's about putting things that you love in your home. That if you see something that you're obsessed with, but you're a bit worried that, so-and-so will think it's mad. Who cares? Is it so-and-so's house?
Don't invite them over.
Don't invite them over. They can stay at the front door. Yeah. It's your home. It should be your haven, and it should be filled with things that you specifically love, I think.
And I was going to ask you, because obviously, you've got the store, you provide service and help people to do up their homes, you've got the team. They all just merge so beautifully together. I'm sure, like myself, I do lots of different businesses, but they merge together.
Yeah.
And when you love something, like I get up every morning, I can't wait to get going. Do you feel like that?
Yeah. I really do. Yeah. And I think it's because I'm doing something that I love, and And I'm also really proud that it's my business, that I started. We've got a great team. It's not humongous, but, team's a team and they're brilliant and we work really well together. So yeah, no, I'm so delighted. And, often my friends are like, this is my time to do this and this is my time. And I'm like, my time is when I'm working.
Yeah.
Like, I love it. I really do.
It as well.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. No, it's gorgeous. I need to ask you a question.
Okay.
So the last person left a question. I'm going to read it out to you. Let's have a little look. Oh, okay. So in relation to your life's biggest achievement, what one sentence would you give to someone starting out? In relation to your life's biggest achievement, so first of all, we'd need to know what that is. What one sentence would you give to someone starting out?
Oh God, what is my life's greatest achievement? See, I don't know because I don't know what my life's greatest. A part of me is like my life's greatest achievement is my family, like my kids, my husband, and I just kind of got very lucky with how I met Jamie.
Yeah,
like we met really young. We were 17. So I don't know how to give advice on that.
Well, if I would think, to be open to it, it's probably a good piece of advice because a lot of 17-year-olds might go, at 19, they might go, well, actually, this is ridiculous. I might have to go away to come back.
True. And actually, something like that did, we were so young, we met school. And I was like, whoa, this is too much. Let's be friends, the usual.
Yes.
And the way he reacted to it was so incredible that I was like, no, I can't let him go. He said, yeah, no problem. Let's be friends. And he was so mature and so unlike the boys that I'd been around, before. I was like, excuse me, you're being level-headed and mature and an adult about it. And I was blown away. And of course it didn't last long. So maybe that is part of it. Maybe it is just
be open to it.
Yeah, be open to it. And even if you do kind of say no, if it's not really no, you can always reconsider it.
Yeah. I do think it doesn't matter what age you are. When it's the one, it's the one.
Yeah.
And that can be scary for some people, especially when they're younger.
Yeah, it's true. It is true.
It will all work out.
I think in terms of business and in terms of kind of going out on your own, I would always just say go for it.
Yeah.
Obviously don't go for it if it's a terrible idea. But if you're confident in what you are, thinking about starting, if you've done your research, if you can do it, if you can actually make it work in your life, go for it.
Go for it.
What's the best that can happen?
I agree. Amazing. Siobhan, thank you so much for spending time with me. I thoroughly enjoyed that.
Yes.
And next time I want to do it with wine, girl.
Oh my God, please.
Yeah, no, we have to organise it. I can see completely why my friend Pat said that I had to meet you. So thank you so much. It was brilliant.
Thank you.
Cheers.
That was lovely.
So thanks for listening. And don't forget, if you enjoyed this pod, then please like and follow. And pop over to YouTube if you want to watch. You can subscribe to my YouTube channel at Sian Horn. And lastly, we have some amazing news. All of the BeBell events are now on bbell.ie. So if you want to know more about our monthly events, our meetups, and our amazing retreat coming this September in Portugal, then do head over to the website and we'll see you there.